Hello and welcome to Business Lab. Coming up in this bulletin, Accra Brewery Limited could shut down operations over imposition of up to 15% excess duty on some of their products, including beer. You're live with a tax consultant. Also, private sector credit grows by 41.2% as Bank of Ghana governor urges banks to deepen lending.
Indeed, private sector credit grew by 41.2% in June 2026, compared with 8.6% a year earlier.
Today on the Joy Business Van, we bring you the second part of our feature on Halcyon MH, which is powering Ghana's industrial growth through material handling solutions. We have these and more coming up in this bulletin. My name is Winston Packy. Now let's bring you update on the commodities market. And now to our first business story. Accra Brewery Limited could shut down the operations over the implementation of revised excise bill. This is what Joy Business has picked up from persons with knowledge of their planned action. More in the following Business Desk report.
If President John Mahama should go ahead and give his assent to this bill, this could result in an imposition of between 7 to 15% tax. Sources say this could result in the Accra Brewery Limited taking a hit of $7 million when it comes to impairment. Our engagement with some industry players have also confirmed this planned action by the Accra Brewery Limited, whilst other brewery firms have argued that they could first look at scaling down the operations before laying off some of their workers to stay in business for now. There are even reports that some of the brewery firms can manage this new tax if its full implementation is pushed to the beginning of next year, that is January 2027. There are indications that the Finance Ministry could move to implement this revised excise duty soon as it secures the President's signature.
Now joining us on Zoom is tax consultant Francis Timoboy for more insight on this development. Now, it's good to have you with us, Francis. Now, what do you make of this move by the Accra Brewery Limited?
Winston, thanks for having me. I regard the warning by Accra Brewery as a warning in the wider manufacturing sector because, trust me, it's very expensive to manufacture in this country. However, where I'm a bit concerned is to the extent of the shutdown. I believe that we need to be able to, separate the issues. When Accra Brewery is saying they want to shut down, I'm struggling to believe that it is an industry thing, or in other words, it cuts across all the brewery manufacturing. The reason is that Accra Brewery is a public company. I mean, they're listed, so we know their financial statements. And in 2023, 2024, you could see some financial challenges that they are having. So potentially they are thinking that, or based on their financial statement, they believe that they cannot be able to take on additional taxes. And that is why they are sounding this alarm. If I should show you some numbers, in 2023, the company reported a loss after tax of 61 million cedis. In 2022, they decided to issue a rights issue in order to make payment for some intercompany loans that they have. So and again, their financial situation hasn't changed, even though revenue keeps going up. So I think that this is a company-specific challenges the concerns are valid, but then to the extent of shutdown, I think that we shouldn't spread it across the entire sector. That would be my view. I mean,
All right.
excise duty increase cannot or should not lead to the shutdown of the company.
Francis, now going through the excise bill passed by Parliament, do you think that action like this is justified?
Yes, to some extent it is, because the main concern has been the local raw material. You know, in 2012, if you are familiar with breweries, the beer can be produced from a popular raw material called hops or barley. And then researchers came out to say that we can use cassava or even maize to produce same. So government in 2012 decided that why don't we encourage farmers to produce more cassava and beer so that it can create some jobs. And so government introduced that policy that if you use local raw material, then you get reduced concession. Remember that if you don't use local raw material, you import. Beer has an excise duty of 47.5%, but if you use local raw material up to maybe 70% in your production, and trust me, you will not even you can't detect, if you're a consumer of beer, you can't detect that this is produced from local materials or imported. So government introduced that concession 14 years ago, and I believe that that's the reason why government is trying to assess the policy, is that now, after 14 years, has the policy achieved its objectives? And also we are hearing that there is abuse because government has no means of checking some of this concession that is granted to the brewery. So the new law seeks to revise it. The major increment, if I check here, is beer. Before, it used to be 10%. If you use local raw material above 70%, now they've taken it to 25%. So which means that there's an additional 15% increase. We have others like malt, which didn't change. If you use between 50 to 70%, they've
Francis,
added
interesting now,
7.5%.
we engage some of persons close to the Accra Brewery, and another concern that they say is that the market is very competitive and passing on the cost to the consumers might be the prudent decision for them to take. Do you side with that?
Yes, I do, because it's valid. I mean, competition will always force you to determine whether you should lose margins or not. So I believe that those concerns are valid, especially because we have a lot of, on excise products on the market. We've tried to use excise stamp to curb them, but still we see products coming to the market through the ports, smuggled goods. So that concerns are valid. But I believe that it doesn't stop government to, engage the people to say 14 years down the line, let's see how this concession is working.
We're also picking information that this is an industry issue. However, others are looking at other operations like scaling down the operations. Could that be so?
And that's where I have a concern. So if it is an industry thing, then government must reassess the policy. From what I read, I was thinking that it is an ABL specific problem because of their financial challenges as published on the stock exchange. But if it's an industry thing, then government may consider introducing, a stage approach. So this year you may decide to reduce them gradually. Then you can eventually wipe away this concession that you introduce.
So what other options are available for government in terms of dealing with this issue?
So, Pius, I think the main concern I've heard is that the government is unable to monitor the local raw materials. It is what the breweries tell them. So why don't we establish a commodity exchange so that the breweries can go to that commodity exchange, buy the raw materials. There's track record for that. Farmers can also come and sell their produce. I believe that it will even create a better market for farmers. And in that way, we'll be able to monitor, and if it is working, we'll be able to track the number of jobs we've created instead of the open market that we are operating.
Ronald, do you have the same concerns that we have picked up that there appears to be some hidden charges, levies, taxes in these new tax bills passed by Parliament?
So far, what I've read about the bill, the only hidden charges I can see is the local raw material that the government is trying to revise, even though government has not given us any data on how they perceive the abuse we call on government to share that data with us. To what extent is the abuse? But so far, I don't think that I've seen any hidden charges within the bill.
All right, thank you very much, Francis Tumoboy, task consultant, speaking with us here on the new bill with regards to its impact on Accra Brewery. Moving on, private sector credit in Ghana grew by 41.2% in June 2026, a significant increase from the 8.6% recorded in the same period last year, as easing financial conditions begin to translate into stronger lending to businesses. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, disclosed the development when he engaged the chief executive officers and heads of banks, noting that real private sector credit growth also stood at 34.1%.
The governor said the improving economic environment presents an opportunity for banks to play a stronger role in supporting economic activity, particularly by expanding access to finance for businesses. However, he noted that despite a rebound in credit creation and growing demand for loans, many small and medium-sized enterprises, particularly those operating along the agricultural value chain, continue to face difficulties accessing financing.
Indeed, private sector credit grew by 41.2% in June 2026, compared with 8.6% a year earlier, while real private sector credit growth stood at 34.1%. This is a significant development indeed. Now, on the fiscal and debt developments, fiscal discipline has also continued to provide an important anchor for macroeconomic stability, as has recently been espoused by the Minister of Finance. Fiscal performance in the first quarter of 2026 broadly reflected strong expenditure restraint, notwithstanding revenue shortfalls, resulting in better than targeted balances on a cash basis. The continued commitment to expenditure restraint, revenue mobilization, prudent debt management, and fiscal discipline, these will be critical to preserving debt sustainability, strengthening investor confidence, and reducing fiscal risks to the macroeconomic outlook.
The governor's comments come at a time when the Bank of Ghana is seeking to ensure that the improvement in macroeconomic stability translates into increased economic activity and broader access to finance.
Now, the managing director for Republic Bank Ghana, Dr. Benjamin Jubuku, has stated that the bank's partnership with the multimedia group to headline the Joy News Habitat Fair confirms the long-standing commitment of the bank in the housing sector. Dr. Jubuku made a statement after the bank signed a deal with the multimedia group yesterday as headline sponsors of the fair.
This year's Joy News Habitat Fair promises to be different, offering varied opportunities for potential homeowners and patrons. According to the new headline sponsor, Republic Bank, Ghana's housing deficit is largely attributed to affordability. The bank says its collaboration with the multimedia group will help bridge this gap by providing potential homeowners with a variety of options to make home ownership more accessible.
Republic Bank, as you are aware, we started as a home finance company. Currently, we are market leaders, and therefore, we want to see how we can work together with a close partner like multimedia to close this deficit, or at least attempt closing the deficit. That is the reason we are embracing this. It is national in nature.
General Manager for Joy Brands, Fifi Kumsin, has assured that this year's event, which is expected to begin with a series of mini clinics, will introduce a different dynamic for both patrons and participants.
Republic Bank became the title sponsor of the Habitat Fair of our Kumasi brands. That was a very exciting time, and we've had a very exciting journey. As a result of that, just this year, we have had an extension of a further 5 years, and that has been signed. It just signals that there's something good working. Today, in the same spirit, we sign a further, and in this case, for the Accra brands, 3 years partnership with the Republic Bank. That makes Republic Bank the title sponsor of the entire Habitat Fair portfolio of the multimedia group nationwide. Indeed, that is a statement of confidence, and at the multimedia group, we do not take this lightly.
As part of efforts to bring home ownership closer to citizens, the Volta Regional Capital Hall will for the first time host one of the mini clinics for this year's event. Here's General Manager for Sales, Max Fuga.
We're taking the brand to where the potential home owners or home buyers are. And so we'll be doing one in Laboni, around the Palace Mall in Laboni. We'll be doing a second one at the airport, number 1 airport Square. Again, we believe that people in those areas have housing needs, but they're not getting the right information. And so we are moving to the doorstep of a potential homeowners. And then we're going to do Ho, and do the final one at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, somewhere in November. And then we're going to do Kumasi for the Kumasi market. So it's getting bigger, it's getting exciting, and we're offering 360 solution for everything housing.
We have more business update for you right after this break. Keep watching. Back to Business Live with me, Winston Tackett. Now to more business updates. Ghana's industrial and logistics sectors are undergoing significant transformation, creating growing demand for efficient and reliable material handling solutions. In this second part of our Joy Business Van feature, we take a closer look at Halcyon MH, a Ghanaian-owned company that was grown over the past decade to become a key player in the material handling industry.
At the back of the machines, to be topping up the water whilst we were working, it was really, really difficult to get good equipment, reliable machines to work with. So we took on the challenge to get into the market and support businesses.
A decade on, Halcyon MH has become the go-to place for material handling solutions. Lucy Ajogbele is procurement manager.
One of the major challenges we had in the past was recruiting skilled technicians and sourcing funding as well. But thanks to EcoBank, we no longer have issues with funding.
EcoBank has been a reliable financial partner. They've financed all our projects, and they've engaged our team here at Halcyon directly. The MD of EcoBank personally came to our showroom to understand our operations, and since then the support has been good. And they've provided growth to our business in the form of accessible capital. Yes, so shout outs to the team at EcoBank.
Today, the company provides equipment sales, rentals, maintenance services, and fleet management solutions, supporting businesses in manufacturing, logistics, mining, and distribution. Its operations not only improve productivity for clients, but also create jobs and skills development opportunities for Ghanaians.
We have a recruitment and an apprenticeship pipeline with KNUST and Thermatechnical SHS. We also have a national service hands-on training for the people that we recruit from these places. And then with time, we put them through like mentorship programs to make sure that we add value to them or in their field of work. Yeah.
Humphrey Amponsa Dazi is a beneficiary of the skills development opportunity.
Right from national service, I got to work with senior technicians, and then that added value to me because I got to understand how things are done on the field, and then also I got to progress into a different field altogether, which I did not even think of or plan to be. I mean, as an automobile engineering student or a graduate that joined Halcyon, now I'm also running the office of the quality supervisor. So, you know, that should tell you that some value has been added onto me because I got to benefit from the mentorship program, working close with the managers and then the MD to know how to run business as a whole.
Customer satisfaction, our #1 success. We have consistently met and exceeded our customers' expectations through discipline and continuous improvement. Yes, and we have a strong position when it comes to electric forklifts in Ghana here. We have also developed our staff and we have a good partnership with all our clients.
And what's
for business here on Business Live? For more business news, visit myjoyonline.com. And right on the front view, you can see Republic Bank Joint Use Habitat Fair. One information given by the Lands Commission is that be careful during land purchase. People are swapped and always come concerning prices, especially when it comes to land purchases. So the Commission is warning. MTN Ghana fulfills 2.5 million Ghana cedis promise to flood victims with relief supplies. Several insightful articles on myjoyonline.com. My name is Winston Taki. Thanks for watching. We have more business and shows for you here on Joy News. Have a good business day. Bye-bye.